pearl of the Indian Ocean, a land like no other, it is indeed Sri Lanka. Surrounded by the ocean and its beauty, treasure, adventure, and many more. Among the 9 provinces in Sri Lanka, Sabaragamuwa reserves remarkable place for its magical and geological position. Sabaragamuwa has 2 districts, Ratnapura and Kegalle. Sabaragamuwa is surrounded by Pahalakadugannawa, Colombo Candievan Road from Varakapula, Avissavella, Ambilipitiya Middaniya Road, Panadura Ratnapura A8 Road, and finally Ambilipitiya Nonagama Road. Sri Lanka, also known as Adam's Peak, a well-known pilgrimage site for Buddhists, Catholics, Hindus and Muslims alike. The deity Saman invited Lord Buddha to place his footprint on his 3rd visit to the island. Muslims and Catholics believe it to be the footprint of Adam. Also Hindus believe it to be the footprint of the deity Shiva. A Tevava is conducted since ancient times, offering finest food and music to pay tribute to the Lord Buddha and the deity Saman. To enter the Sri Lanka, there are 3 different routes. The first one is from Ratnapura Palabadala Road, the second from Kuruvita Eratna Road, and the third is a much popular Hatton Nallathanni Road. After 6 months vacation, Sri Lanka pilgrimage begins on the Poya day in December with a grand parade from Palmadulla Galputtavela temple taking the deity's jewelry and statue of the deity Saman to Sri Lanka. Then begins the season of pilgrimage. Mahasaman Devalaya devoted to the deity Saman. It is located 2.5 kilometers from Ratnapura Panadura A8 Road along the Kalu River. The deity Saman is well known as a protector of the whole of Sabaragamuwa. All good things begin with paying tribute by offering fruit and flowers to the deity Saman. The annual pageant of the Mahasaman Devalaya touring the streets of Ratnapura brings to life an age-old tradition. Its exclusive traditional item called Mahababa Kolama, a dance of two faces, one representing the calm god and the other represents the devil. A 2-kilometer drive from Kuruvita Saddha Tissamavata, you can find the Delgamu Rajamahaviharya in calm surroundings. The temple that housed the sacred tooth relic of the Lord Buddha from 1549 to 1592, protecting it from foreign attack. During this period, Sri Lanka was invaded by the Portuguese. Hence, all Buddhist monks and cultural activities were done secretively. Because many believed that if the sacred tooth relic was in their control, they could rule the whole country without any objection. Hence, the sacred tooth relic, hidden inside the Kurahan stone, could not be detected by the foreign army. A 2.8-kilometer drive from Higga Sena Devipahala Road or the road situated near the Kuruvita police station, you will arrive at this marvel of nature. It is the 30 meters in height Bopatalla Falls. It is shaped very similar to the leaf of the sacred fig or the bo tree, which has earned its name. It is formed from the Kuruganga, which is a tributary of the Kaluganga. From Palmadula towards Kuttapitiya Estate Road, you can find the 116-meter-tall Kirindiyalla Falls. The waterfall flows in from Kuttapitiya mountain and then flows to the Kaluganga. The National Museum of Ratnapura, located in Ratnapura, Sri Lanka, was opened on 13th May 1988. The museum building called Alepula Valawa, as it once belonged to the Alepula Disava, a courtier of the kingdom of Kandy, who was under reign of Sri Vikramarajasinghe, the last king of Sri Lanka, for whom he served as a local governor of Sabaragamuwa. The museum includes exhibits on prehistoric archaeological inventions, natural heritage, geological, anthropological, zoological artifacts, and models relating to the Sabaragamuwa province. Sabaragamuwa, well known all over the world for its natural treasure, gems, red, blue, and many more varieties found inside this magical land. Searching for gems begins with the mining process called patal. Once mining is done, the soil is filtered with water to search out the gems. After the gems are found, it is sent for cutting and assessing of quality. Natural treasure from Sri Lankan soil now glows at the Queen Elizabeth's crown and Princess Diana's wedding ring. There are many gem museums situated all over the Ratnapura district to provide better knowledge on the gem industry for tourists and locals alike who love the industry. A 4-kilometer drive from Kaltara police station towards Deavina Road, you can find the Buddhagala temple. One could pay veneration to the Buddha sculpture on a rock and hence the name Buddhagala. It is believed that the ruins are those of an ancient hermitage, and construction found here has been dated back to the 1st century BC according to stone letters. A 25-kilometer drive from Balangura towards Kaltota, then turning left, and 2.5-kilometer drive, you will find the Duvili Falls. Its height is at about 40 meters. The name Duvili is derived from the Sinhalese term for dust, which describes a spray emanating from the waterfall. A 9-kilometer drive from Beliuloya on the Colombo-Batiklo A18 highway, you can find the Suratali Falls, 60 meters in height, 2 meters in width, and made up of 3 segments. It is named after a film that was shot in the area. This flows alongside the Sabaragamuwa and later into the Veli River. A 23-kilometer drive from Beliuloya Unparalleled Estate Road towards the Nagarak division, there's the adventurous path to the well-known World's End. At the Nagarak division, there's a colonial bungalow for tourists staying located at a hilltop surrounded by magnificent nature. Beliuloya, the beauty of Mother Nature. Beliuloya and many more eye-catching sights are available to visit. Whilst you travel, you may stay or just stop for rest at the Beliuloya Rest. Among the main exports in Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan tea is well known all over the world as the benchmark of quality. Silogama village can be seen when you move 2 kilometers towards Colombo from Beliuloya, and the scenery of the village is attractive, and tourists are provided facilities to enjoy the village-style food. Alongside the Palmadulla-Ambilipitia A18 highway, a 16-kilometer drive from Godakavela towards Ambilipitia, Sankapala Rajamahaviharya stands majestically on a rock mountain as ample evidence to prove that this temple has been blessed by the saintly monks who spent their time in peaceful meditation. Folklore has it that Pusadeva, a warrior of King Dutugamunu from 131 to 161 BC, resided here. Later on in his life, he was ordained a monk and achieved the state of Arahat. Udawalawa National Park lies on the boundary of Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces in Sri Lanka. The national park was created to provide a sanctuary for wild animals displaced by the construction of Udawalawa Reservoir and the Walave River. A 12-kilometer drive from Balangura towards Valigapula Road, and then turning left from Kapugala Junction, and again an 8-kilometer drive, you will arrive at Bevilla Junction. Turning right from Bevila Junction, a 4-kilometer drive, you can find the new trail to navigate the national park called the New Handagiriya Entrance. Udavalava is an important habitat for Sri Lankan elephants, which are relatively hard to see in its open habitat, and many elephants are attracted to the park because of the Udavalava Reservoir. Udavalava is also a good bird watching site. Inside the park, 4 tourist bungalows located in Veragolla, Timbiriyamankada, Gonaviddagala and Seenuggala. If anyone is interested in camping outdoors, it's also facilitated. Udavalava Elephant Transit Home is established in 1995 for the purpose of looking after abandoned elephants and calves within the park. A total of 9 calves on 2 occasions in 1998 and 2000 with another 8 calves in 2002 were released into the park when they were old enough to fend for themselves. Udavalava Elephant Transit Home feeds their baby elephants at 9 a.m., 12 noon, 3 in the evening and last at 6 p.m. A 12-kilometer drive from Pallebaddu Road towards Miyankuladeniya Road, you will find the Vaulpane Limestone Cave. More than 500 million years old, and it is host to the most amazing geological features never seen anywhere. The stream which runs through this cave becomes a beautiful waterfall with corals called Hirilaba and Hiritaba, which makes it look like a chandelier. Point of interest is that it is a kingdom of bats, and the reason for its name. A 25-kilometer drive from Amblipitiya towards Bulutota Panamura Road, you can find the Madhu Anvala Mansion. The mansion was first built by Madhu Anvala Mahamohottala in the 1700s. And it was expanded at times by the Madhu Anvala family until 1905 when the final expansion was done by Madhu Anvala Mahadisave. At its height, it had over 121 rooms and 80,000 acres of land surrounding it, and at present there are 47 rooms left. The Singaraja Forest Reserve is a national park and biodiversity hotspot in Sri Lanka. It is of international significance and has been designated a biosphere reserve and World Heritage Site by UNESCO. The vegetation of Singaraja may be described either as a tropical lowland rainforest or tropical wet evergreen forest. An interesting phenomenon is that birds tend to move in mixed feeding flocks of Sri Lanka's 26 endemic birds. Five kilometers from Aranayaka towards the east, we find the Salava Temple. It's held by a rocky mountain, a stone-letter draft by King Sri Vikramaraj Singha in front of the temple, and there are many caves in that temple believed to be lived in by Rahat Terun in the BC era. A 7-kilometer drive from Aranayaka towards Aranayaka Horavala Road, you can find the 120-meter height Asupiniyalla Falls. According to ancient tales, inspired the name Ahupini, which is derived from the Ashwaya, the horse, and Pini for for the jump, which combined means the horses jumped over the falls. Sri Lankan pottery industry has a history from the Stone Age. Now Molagoda Pottery works, making pottery both utilitarian and decorative. They convert raw clay to beautiful pots by their magical hands in just a couple of hours. A 10-kilometer drive from Mavanella towards Aranayaka Road, then turning right from Kegalle Junction, and again a 2.5-kilometer drive towards Hettimulla Road, you will arrive at Hadgampala Junction, which is 2.5 kilometers. From there onwards, towards Bathalegala Road, you can find the Bible Rock. As a first sight, it looks like Sigiriya, hence it's called Little Sigiriya. Also called the Bible Rock because of its shape, which looks like the Holy Bible. A rice pot turning blood red is an ancient story which also gives that name to the rock. A Sri Lankan version of Robin Hood, Saradiyal. He lived in Uttuvankanda, passing Mavanella towards Kadugannava. We will find this rocky mountain. During the period of the British, he stole money from the rich British people and gave it away to the poor. In remembrance of Saradiyal, the colonial era Saradiyal village shows that time in sculpture. Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage is an orphanage just set up as the first of its kind by humans. Nursery and captive breeding ground for wild Asian elephants located at Pinnavala village, 13 kilometers northeast of Kegalle town in the Sabaragamuwa province. As of 2018, a total of 85 elephants are taken care of by this orphanage. Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage feeds milk to their baby elephants around 9:15 in the morning, 1:15 in the afternoon, and 5 p.m. in the evening. All elephants are taken for a bath daily by 10 a.m. in the morning and 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Pinnavala Open Zoo is a zoological garden in Pinnavala which is situated closer to the Pinnavala Elephant Orphanage. The zoo was opened for the public on the 17th of April 2015. This is the first open-air zoo in Sri Lanka and also a second zoo in Sri Lanka after Dehiwala. Ayurveda Panchakarma helps to remove toxins from the human body. The use of Shirodhara, Nasna, herbal bathing and many more treatment to heal. First they identify the symptoms, then the healing begins with specific treatment to the cause. This is the process done by the Pinnavala Panchakarma unit. Sabaragamuwa theme park gives an experience of going back to an ancient village, such as Vedagedara, Arachigedara, a smithy, a wood workshop and a coffee shop. Also have a chance to see the Telugu tent paddy field and threshing floor. Visitors are able to take a boat ride on the Mawe as well. A 9-kilometer drive towards Rambukkana town from the Karunthapana junction situated on the Colombo-Kandy A1 road, then a 5-kilometer drive in Rambukkana-Valgama road and again a 1-kilometer drive in the Meeduma College road, you can find the Padavigampala village. It facilitates a typical village experience for resident tourists who are touring the island to receive a charm and remarkable experience. Springing from the Kegalle reservoir, the Nalanganalla Falls comprises a number of chutes, each measuring about 40 meters in height. The fall is situated 7.3 kilometers east from Bulatkohupitia towards Dedugala Road. A 1-kilometer drive from Kidulgala towards Ginigathena, and then turning in a 5-kilometer drive into Innoyavatta Road, you will find the famous large caves in Sri Lanka called Belly Lena. Pethangoduyana was a royal pleasure garden of ancient times. Travelled from Sitavaka to the hillside. After losing a battle and returning to Sitavaka, King Sitavaka Rajasingha, pierced by poisonous bamboo trees in his garden, was later killed due to the same cause. Seapoth is found 25 kilometers from Karavanalla. In the journey towards Seapoth Rock area, Pidurualla waterfall and the broadcasting towers of the ITN can be seen. Lots of plants that can be cultivated in this village are those being cultivated in the Nuvareli area. Kidulgala Paradise for adventure seekers, the one and only location in Sri Lanka for whitewater rafting. You're warmly welcomed to the miracle of nature, beautiful Sabaragamuwa. To protect this miracle for future generations, please be kind enough to give us your support.